Inconceivable!
Will you please act like you have more than a two-word vocabulary?
Is there air? You don't know!
Hey, don't touch that dial. You found Secular Yakking.
I'm Robert.
And I'm Amy.
After years,
No, many years of yakking at each other.
we're here to yak at you.
So sit back and enjoy the yakking.
So welcome back, everyone, to Secular Yakking. Hope everybody had a wonderful 2 weekends.
Yes, unfortunately, it was 2 weeks. With our power outage we had last week. No power for 3 days, kind of completely out of our control on that one.
So yeah, it's been an interesting 2 weeks. And then today, we had another issue, which is why we're not live.
That is right. It turned out it was getting close to the wire and things still weren't working, and then it's after the wire and it's still not working. So we've decided we are going to pre-record our shows from here on out so that we don't have these issues and it will always be up on time and no more of this because it's starting to get old.
Yeah, and one of the reasons I liked going live anyway was to get phone calls, and no one ever called us. So yeah, let's go record it.
I'm not complaining.
Anyway, you can still call me. We have a voicemail.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or email for that matter.
Yeah, 704-802-9255.
Yep. YAKK.
Yeah. So let's get on with the show. And we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the biggest issue of the week.
Yes.
Rowan County, Kentucky. Even recording, I can't get the words right.
That's hysterical.
Kentucky. Okay, so Rowan County, Kentucky, county clerk has too many K's.
That's hysterical. Keep going.
Kim Davis has refused to issue marriage license, period.
She's got some cojones.
Yes, she does. So,
Or just kind of crazy.
So a judge said, no, you have to order a marriage license, and gave her to the end of August to do it.
And
well,
she's not budging.
No, September 1st rolls around. She says no. She gets pulled into court on contempt of court. What is wrong with me? I've had coffee today, so
that's no excuse.
So contempt of court, and then gets put in jail.
And she's fine with that completely.
Yeah, she's kind of calling herself a martyr.
Please, are you kidding me?
I know. So, and sadly, she's not the only one.
Other people, you mean, are saying the same?
Oh, yeah. So her lawyer, Matt Staver, chairman of the Liberty Council, compared her situation to the one the Jews faced with the Nazi Germany.
That's just ridiculous.
So here's his quote. What happened in Nazi Germany, what happened there, first, they removed the Jews from government public employment. Then they stopped patronizing them in their private businesses. Then they continued to stigmatize them. Then there were problems. Then they killed them.
So we're going to kill her next? Is that the plan?
No, it's a slow process. It took a decade.
Yeah, but this is the modern age. We move quickly. Come on, snap.
We do move a lot quicker. So, comparing her to the Jews is just ridiculous. She's not being persecuted because she has a religion.
I think it's distasteful.
I think it is. It's ridiculous of him to compare her to what the Jews went through.
No, there's no comparison whatsoever. And I think it's actually disgusting that they're doing that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's ridiculous. So she's been put in jail for denying the rights of others.
Yes, exactly.
Her rights are not being denied. She is still allowed to be a Christian.
She's still allowed to be a jerk.
Yeah.
And no one's taken that right away from her. But she's denying an equal right to someone else. There's no comparison whatsoever.
Right.
If anything, I kind of would lean more towards the opposite end of that spectrum.
Right. Now, he's not the only one. We have more.
Of course.
So, U.S. Representative Steve King is drawing criticism after sharing his support for Kentucky clerk Kim Davis and suggesting she should win the Rosa Parks Award.
Oh, are we going to go there too?
Yeah. In a tweet, he said this. In 1963, we should not have honored SCOTUS' decision to create a wall of separation between prayer and school. Kim Davis for the Rosa Parks Award.
Oh, that's such horse poopy. I'm sorry, that's total BS. She was standing up for equality and equal rights. This chick, however, is completely the opposite. She's taking rights away from other people, and all in the name of her religion, whatever makes her happy. Not even close.
Right. I mean, I saw someone compare her more to the bus driver than Rosa Parks.
Exactly.
Because she is trying to take away the rights of others.
Exactly.
This is not persecution against Christianity. This is following civil rights laws.
It is amazing how they can completely see it from different glasses. I really don't get that.
Yeah, I know. And for a U.S. representative, a national
That's frightening, too.
elected official,
Exactly.
to even say that the SCOTUS decision was wrong, that there needs to be coerced prayer in school is basically what he's saying.
Exactly. I mean, if you think about everything that's going on, not just this story, but all the stories going on nationally, and if they were to all have their way, what this country would be like, I mean, it could get really freaky.
Right.
I mean,
are we going to create a theocracy?
that's kind of the direction they're heading.
That sounds like it. I mean, some of this stuff they're saying actually kind of sounds like Sharia law.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. It's like we're going to the dark ages here. You know, you agree what we say, or we're burning your butt.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
I mean, that's pretty much what they're getting more and more aggression towards, it just seems.
But her attorney, Matt Staver, wasn't done.
Uh-huh.
You know, he compared her to Martin Luther King.
You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Anything else they want to pick to compare her to?
No. Well, let's see what he said.
Alrighty.
She's not going to resign. She's not going to sacrifice her conscience. So she's doing what Martin Luther King Jr. wrote about in his letter from the Birmingham jail, which is to pay the consequences for her decision. Which is true. She's paying the consequences for her decision to discriminate against others.
Right. And that's why I don't understand, why are they comparing her to these people when they stood for equality for all, and she is standing for the complete opposite? How can they compare her to these people?
Yeah,
There's no, absolutely not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're using this as a way to get sympathy, as a way to compare themselves to great people who did great things. And she's not a great person. She's not doing great things.
No, she's not. I mean, I'm sorry. If there's not equality, then you're not doing good.
Right.
You're just not.
You're not.
If you're holding back someone, even if you don't agree with their thoughts, their beliefs, whatever, that still doesn't give you the right to deny someone. I mean, there's a lot of people I don't agree with, but I would never deny them any of their equal rights.
Right.
And I'm sorry, on a side note, not to be kind of mean, but it's kind of mean. Have you seen her picture?
Yeah.
She kind of looks scary.
Yeah, I mean...
No, I know that has absolutely nothing
Yeah.
to do with this. I was just looking at her picture. I'm like, wow, you know, it's kind of makes sense to me. And the fact that she has a couple generations now that are going through, they're standing the same way as her. You
Right.
know, I'm not going to listen to authority. I'm going to do what I want.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, she did. Her mother ran the clerk office for 21 years, and there was definitely nepotism there. I mean, she got a huge raise at one point in time, which was eventually taken back, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But that's an entirely separate
course,
issue.
yes.
Yeah, and her son is doing the exact same
Well,
thing. He refuses to do it.
That's what I was going to say. He's also following in her footsteps.
Yeah, but I looked into Kentucky law. You're allowed to hire your family into
Right.
government positions in Kentucky. Other places don't allow it.
I was going to say, that's kind of sounds like favoritism.
Well, in Kentucky, you kind of have to. There's nobody else.
I'm just not going to go there. I just had lots of thoughts, but I'm not going there.
But a segment on oppression and would not be complete. Sorry, I'm going to redo that.
Do it again.
A segment on oppression would not be complete unless we brought in the oppressor in general, Pat Robertson.
The 700 Club guy
The permanently persecuted old dude.
with makeup.
Yeah, well, weekend at Bernie's.
Exactly.
So, he said this. The gays do not just want to be recognized. They do not want to be accepted. They do not want to have just freedom. They want everybody to agree with them, and everybody who doesn't agree with them and does not comport to their way of thinking, they want to be punished, put in jail, or fined. That's the way they want it, and you might as well get used to it.
That is such crap.
I agree, but this isn't the first time you said crap like this.
No, I don't doubt that, but I can't stand when someone presumes to know what someone else is thinking.
I agree.
That drives me crazy.
Right, and you know what's interesting is that last bit where he's talking about if you don't agree with them, you're going to be punished or put in jail.
That sounds familiar.
That sounds very familiar. We called that the Dark Ages.
See, there I go again. Exactly.
Spanish Inquisition.
Uh-huh.
Witch trials.
I mean, so we're going to go backwards in the future is where we're headed?
That's what he's saying, because...
Well, that's what... I'm sorry, if you take a second and look at all what's been going around, that's what a lot of them are all saying.
Well, there's quite a few people who are saying that, you know, the abolishment of sodomy laws was wrong, and we need to bring those back.
Seriously.
Yeah, which would put a lot of people in jail.
How are they going to enforce that law?
All you have to do... So it was enforceable before because if you were gay, you were obviously committing sodomy, because there was no other way around it.
Yeah.
But they couldn't necessarily enforce it on straight people.
And on this, well, of course, but in this day and age, they really think they're going to pull that one out of their pocket.
But, you know, they're being persecuted because they can't persecute.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding? They're being persecuted about everything.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, they're being persecuted because it's raining too much or it's not raining enough.
Yeah, I know. Their persecution complex stems from the biblical passage that says that they will be persecuted.
On everything they do.
It's self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yep.
So it's a sign of the end of days for them that they're being persecuted. So they want to be persecuted.
Oh, they see signs in everything, like the Jesus toast.
Yeah, well.
I mean, come on. They look for stuff.
I know.
I am an old man, and most people hate me, but I don't like them either, so that makes it all even.
That's right, Yackers. It's time for the Potter Award.
Yes, it is.
And we got a real fun one for you this week.
Which is kind of why we're doing it, a little sooner than we usually do,
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, well, we're close,
Yeah.
15-ish minutes in.
Because you have a lot to talk about.
Oh, yeah, this guy's huge.
Okay, go for it.
So this week, we go to Texas.
Ah, good.
New
Somewhere different.
state, yeah.
Well, somewhat new.
Yeah. New.
Texas always has things going on.
Right. And specifically Sheriff Randy Meeks of Hunt County, Texas.
Okie dokie.
So some of you may recognize his name because last week he made a statement about where his authority comes from. As an elected
There it is again.
As an elected official, you would think he might use the power of the people,
Nah.
the Constitution.
Nah.
So where does he derive his power from?
The almighty God above.
Yes, the Bible. He said, guess where that authority comes from to law enforcement? It comes from God. Read Romans 13:1 in the Bible. And while you're at it, you folks in Ferguson, Baltimore, Arlington, and here, take a gander at Romans 13:2.
So he's even not just saying a Bible verse, but he's quoting the direct verse and telling you which one to go and check out.
Right.
Even though he is a government official.
Right. So, what do these verses say? So, according to the King James Version, it says this: let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resist, that's language.
That's a fun word.
The ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. So there you go.
Wow.
So basically, he's calling on the writers to bow down to an authority, not just his God's authority, but and also the ordained authority of his office.
Yes, because he is up there, at that level.
He's a king.
Yeah, he's a king. He's a god, which is how he wins Potter, because they are their own gods.
Yeah.
Their own kings.
So I honestly thought that our governments were instituted among men deriving their power, just power from the consent of the governed.
Nah.
That was actually written in the Declaration of Independence.
I was going to say, that sounds... Yeah, but he doesn't hear that. Are you kidding?
So here's the weirdest thing. I get into arguments all the time about the founding of the nation.
Right, of course you do.
Right? And they always throw out the Declaration of Independence at me.
Yes, they do.
And
There's
now,
a radio station, by the way, about that.
There's a radio?
It's directly about how God is in the Constitution.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah.
whole show.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's another thing. Moving on.
Anyway, so, but they're not looking at the Declaration of Independence here. They're treating it like their Bible
Yes,
because they just pick and choose what they want.
exactly. Just like the Bible itself.
Right.
If
Well,
you
that's what I
think-
said. They're treating it like their Bible.
Yeah, exactly.
So, this statement that he made was in response to a March 4th incident involving one of his deputies punching a pregnant woman in the stomach.
Whoa, it was in the stomach? Are
Yeah.
you kidding?
Well, he didn't necessarily punch her in the stomach exactly. The way that he,
How do you
push-
not exactly punch
So-
a pregnant woman?
when this was going on, they were serving a warrant at her house for taking away one of the children. Right? So
Okay.
she obviously resisted.
Obviously.
So during the scuffle, he punched her, and during the punching and scuffle, ended up slamming her into a counter.
Holy crap.
However, the sheriff claims that she was reaching for the deputy's weapon at the time of the scuffle.
Of course he does.
Yeah, after the investigation by the Texas Rangers, it was shown that the deputy violated no policies.
Are you beeping me?
Well-
You've got to be kidding.
But it doesn't matter if he violated no policies. He caused damage.
It means he's not getting punished, period.
He's not getting punished because
Exactly, that's
right.
what I'm complaining about.
Right. There's still, the woman is still suing.
I would too. And obviously, she's no angel either.
Well,
as
no, of
far
course
as,
not, but that's not the point.
Regardless of what she did, I mean, she had no weapon of any kind, had no intentions of a weapon of any kind, and he's, even just the slamming the counter and the punching, he's obviously throwing her around. That alone.
Right.
I mean, and how is he not reprimanded?
Because he was following policies.
Yeah, okay.
So there's a lot more on this story, and I suggest you guys read up on that. I'll have the links in the show notes to that. Because,
good.
that's just more than we need to get into here.
Yeah, that's like a whole nother thing. That's bull. Sorry, but that's total bull.
So this, the other stuff we're talking about with him is clearly his own assertion, which has no basis on the Constitution, or in the Constitution, right?
Uh-huh.
But where does he get this idea that he can use biblical concepts?
Because he thinks he's God?
I
Or a
think
king.
it's because of our motto.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I think that's what a lot of
So-
the sheriffs think.
I've run into that a lot with
'Cause it
this
says
thing.
in God
Because
we
it says in
trust.
God we trust in our motto. It says in God we trust on our money.
Mm-hmm.
There's a danger inherent in that. And on the Original Motto Project's blog post, Thomas Essel has a great story about that. It just came out yesterday. So I'll put links to that on the show notes because it's really, really good.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't be a proper Mr. Potter Award without that little extra.
Of course, there's always extra.
So we go back to April 2011, when local CBS affiliate uncovered something not quite right about a fundraiser the sheriff was handling called Friends of the Sheriff. This was supposed to be used for community goodwill to buy toys and supplies and things like that. A truly noble cause indeed.
Right. Had that went that way.
But Sheriff Meeks decided to use those funds for deputy training and to reward deputies for good work with like restaurant gift cards and cash rewards and things like that.
So, with all the donations and money that they earned to go to toys and things to help the needy, basically, they helped themselves.
Yeah, basically the things that should have come out of his operational budget, such as training,
Right.
was paid for by this.
Yeah, he's got a good record there.
Yeah. When approached, the sheriff was unaware that he had done anything wrong, stating he didn't know he is not allowed to ask for donations from citizens.
What?
Yeah, so he's not allowed to ask for donations from citizens as an elected official.
Okay, that I get, but how does he not know this?
He said he didn't know.
Yeah, that's convenient.
Well, it's an iffy situation because he thinks he's doing something good
Yeah,
for
but
the community.
even if he didn't know, he still used it for his personal versus what it was intended for.
No.
So
it does
there's
get-
a double whammy on
So
that one.
let me put a triple one on there for you.
Of course.
11 months later, that fund was still up and running.
Oh, so he learned his lesson but continued to do what he was doing.
Right. And an open records request from the CBS station was never filled.
Of course.
At least as far as I
Convenient.
found out. It may have been at some point in time, but I didn't see anything about it. And the DA, because someone asked to have this prosecuted, stated, based on all the facts, I didn't think it should be prosecuted.
What?
The DA said, nah, we don't want to do that.
Since when?
I bet it was a buddy issue.
I was just going to say, who
DA,
knows who,
sheriff.
or who got what put in their hand.
Should have been an independent.
Yes, absolutely. God, it's amazing. So, if you look at it at this level, all the inside stuff you could do when you can buy somebody or somebody. Think of that on this is like a side note, has nothing to do with this, but on a political aspect. I mean, it's no wonder all of our systems are kind of really messed up and need to be revamped. But that's an entirely different thing. Move on.
All right. But as usual, we always get that little bit more.
Oh, are you seriously telling me more?
Oh, yeah. This guy's a winner.
Wouldn't that be like 4 now?
No, he's on number 3. I usually stop at 3. I've had 4, 5, 6 things, but 3 is generally enough.
Yeah, the show's only so long.
Yeah. And this time we go way back to 2009. But the trip is really worth it.
Okay.
On May 2nd, a massive storm blew through Hunt County, causing flooding, power outages, and a host of other issues. Big storm stuff, right?
Right.
The 911 system was inundated with calls, and all emergency services were taking care of business, doing what they do.
Right.
So Sheriff Meek's wife called up 911 to report water coming into her home.
So she was starting to get some flooding in her house.
Yes. So she says, this is Sheriff's wife. We're trying to sweep it out, but it keeps coming in. What was in danger? A small child?
Not likely.
A beloved family pet?
I would be surprised if you even go out for that.
The living room furniture?
Probably.
Yes, living room furniture.
Seriously, she called 911 because her furniture was getting wet?
Yes.
Are
The
you kidding
dispatcher
me?
said they were super busy, but that wasn't good enough for Mrs. Meeks. We're going to call and see if we can get some of the deputies maybe come out and help us.
Really?
Phone records show that Meeks himself then called a dispatcher, told them his home was flooding, and requested that any nearby deputies be rerouted to his house to help.
Are you...
Stating, we're going to have to move some furniture.
I want to say the word, darn it. But, I mean, come on. Are you kidding me? They're in the middle of a massive storm. They've got their deputies all over town helping people who are really having danger issues, and she needs her furniture moved so it doesn't get wet, and he orders this?
Yeah. So
No, I'm just not going to say anything.
Yeah. The responding deputy got stuck in high water on the way, damaging part of his car.
Please tell me he got punished for this in some way.
We're not done. A jailer was sent to help the flooded deputy, and multiple other jailers were ordered to help Meeks move his furniture.
So let me get this right. Now he's pulling guys out of jail to come help this?
Not prisoners. Guards.
Oh, the guards for the jail.
guards.
That's what I meant. Yeah. So he's pulling them off of now. I'm
Right.
surprised he's not calling the National Guard for help.
Well,
I mean, truly.
Luckily, he can't do that.
Exactly. Jesus Christ.
So Sheriff Meeks says he's opened any kind of investigation and that he didn't do anything wrong.
Bull.
He says, if I have an emergency, I will call 911.
What?
When asked if moving his furniture was an emergency, he replied, I'm through with this.
Oh, so I'm not going to talk about it
Right.
because he knows damn well he was
And
wrong.
there was an investigation, and it went nowhere.
Explain that to me, because if this was '09, the other stories you gave us went backwards in time. So his butt is still the sheriff in the current position.
Right.
So
How is this?
That's my
how is it
point.
possible this guy keeps getting reelected?
How did he,
Why is
after
this stuff
this '09 issue, him still be here?
Right. This is obviously a misuse of government
Power.
and
And that's
property.
my point. Yes, I know they elect him in, which they gotta be damn stupid to keep electing him. I mean, he just in the '09 incident pulled, emergency staff from helping the people who voted for him. But regardless of that, how is he not reprimanded for just this '09 issue, let alone the following ones he did all the way up to current time?
Right. Well, he's in a bit of hot water for what he's doing now.
My butt, just in the real working world where everyone else lives, his butt would be fired.
Yeah,
and
I
yes, I
agree.
know he's elected. You got to do other things, but he still would be gone.
Right.
I mean,
I don't know if he's going to make the next election. I mean, this is Hunt County. It's pretty rural.
regardless of him making the next election, why is he not punished? This is my biggest problem.
I agree.
The fact that he's not getting punished.
And now he's bringing in separation of church and state issues, which is what brought him to my attention.
Right. And part of the reason why he continues to do what he does is because it's like taking any other kid who keeps getting away with stuff over and over again. They don't learn consequences. They'll just keep on trucking and doing what they do.
I know.
He has no reprimand, so he doesn't care.
I know. It's here.
He's
This
king
speaks
of his county.
Yeah, this speaks. I was just about to say something like this. Speaks a lot to the amount of power a sheriff does have.
Exactly.
I mean, they are the law enforcement official for the local area.
Right. And with you doing this project, this original motto project, I hear your stories time and time again, and all these sheriffs, they think they're kings of their county. I mean, they really have a God complex.
They do.
And not that they're pushing God in that way, but they have a I am everything complex, and you will all bow down to me and we will do what I say kind of complex. And I'm hearing this time and time again with all these counties. It's insane.
Right. Yeah, it's just amazing how power goes to the head of these people.
I don't get that. I really don't.
And they are basically, and I've even heard them say things like, I don't have to go to the county commission, I'm the sheriff.
Yeah, see?
Right? I'm elected to do a job, I'm doing this job, it's ridiculous.
They don't see anyone holding them back from anything. They
Right.
they have no one to answer to, I guess.
That's
They're
what it
like
is.
a kid in a candy store
Right.
with, freebies.
Right, because they only have to answer to the citizens, right?
Which he keeps them in the dark, I'm sure.
I'm sure he does.
They just do whatever they want because once you vote him in, that's it. That's the citizens' extent of dealing with him
Right. I mean,
because he's on his own after that.
yeah. I mean, it's just ridiculous. These sheriffs are getting in. They're getting too much power. We need. Sorry.
I think my biggest problem is the fact that they're getting in, they have this power because that's part of the position, which I get. But when they do an act that proves that they shouldn't have this position, I want to know, why are they not being pulled out?
Yeah, like this guy. He's obviously on several occasions on just a very minor search that I did on this guy. I mean, all I did was type in his name, his county, and put sheriff. That's it. I didn't do any real digging for this guy. This is easy stuff.
And this, you say this time and time again with all of these sheriff county stories. I hear the same thing over and over again. Okay, this guy has a rap sheet of history, so he's prone to do it again and again, doing something he's not supposed to. But I don't understand why any of them aren't being prosecuted the first time they do something wrong. It's let go, which inhibits them to do more.
Well,
you know?
it's like in that blog post I was talking about earlier that Thomas did.
Uh-huh.
So one of the things he stated in there with when we find these sheriffs that are doing the "In God We Trust" stickers, right? We usually go to their Facebook page and see what else they're doing,
Right.
and we see this other host of stuff, right? So one's got 10 Commandments on their wall. One's got
And these are government
these are government
sites.
walls.
Right,
These
walls,
are
yeah.
official government pages,
Right, which you cannot do.
Which you can't do. No, this is literally on his physical wall.
Oh,
It's a
literally
mural.
in the play.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a mural,
yeah.
and they're very
Okay.
proud of this mural. But one has Bible quotes on their webpage. Can't do that.
Yeah, they just don't get the separation of church and state. It's not
Well,
hard.
I think that goes to this idea that they are the king of their county,
Yeah, that's what I said.
and they are unaccountable to do whatever they want.
Exactly.
So, and when we find a single violation, we almost always find multiple
Right,
violations.
because they tend to have a history of
Right.
this.
And
It's a pattern.
it is a pattern. And we don't see that similar pattern among those who aren't doing stickers.
Oh, that's interesting.
I mean, we're not doing a lot of research on those that aren't doing stickers, but we're not really seeing it, is what
Right.
we're saying.
Right.
So I think this plays hand in hand, especially with his first quote, that his authority comes from God, and he's only answerable to God.
Yeah, that right there is saying he's above even following federal rules.
Right. This country was founded on the idea that our government is based on the power from the people.
Right.
You know, we do not have God in our Constitution for a reason.
Right, because we are not answering to any god, any king. It's to the people.
I mean, it's in our Declaration of Independence. Thomas Jefferson wrote it specifically.
But yet they keep saying that this country was founded on the Christian religion.
Right, and that just pisses me off.
And it's only the Christian God, too, even though there's thousands of those gods out there kind of thing, and yet it's just theirs
I know.
and theirs only, and we all have to follow that one.
Right. And that was the whole thing with this whole show.
Yes.
We're being told that they're being persecuted and oppressed because we're not following their God's rules.
And because we are getting more numerous and more outspoken, they think that they are being so oppressed that they're just like, they're in concentration camps as far as they're concerned. They think that we're just hunting them all down like, you know, some kind of vampire hunters or something and wiping them out of existence.
Right.
So they're getting very aggressive because
They are
of this.
becoming more and more aggressive. The number
The death threats.
The number of counties that have put on "In God We Trust" stickers is growing by 2 or 3 a day. I mean, it's very hard to keep up with.
It's just absolutely crazy.
I think I added 10 to my list last week.
It's ridiculous.
So my list is probably around 50 now. I started this 3 weeks ago. So
I think that's a wrap after
I think
that.
we're good with that.
Yep.
So that's all the yakking we have for you today. Please join us again next week as we resume the assault on your eardrums. If you can't seem to get enough of us, check us out on Twitter or our Facebook page. You can also leave us a message at 704-802-YAK.
That's 704-802-9255. If you like what you hear, drop by our Patreon page and help support the show. Then head on over to Stitcher or iTunes and leave us that oh-so-coveted 5-star review.
Secular Yakking is sponsored by the Humanists of North Puget Sound.
The views expressed are those of the host and not those of HMPS or its board.
All audio for this episode was used under the Creative Commons license.
And remember, the government of the United States of America is not, in any sense, founded on the Christian religion.